It's top of the hour, and you know what that means. It is time for Making a Difference. I am your host, CJ Metcalfe. And on this program, I like to educate the community and interview people that make a difference in our lives. And that can range from anything: organizations, charities, military. It's things that make a difference. So today on our show, I'm going to be interviewing Staff Sergeant Ashley Rodriguez with the United States Army. She is a recruiter working out of the Port Charlotte location, which is Trusses, up there next to Perkins and Taco Bell. And she is an absolutely delightful person and very knowledgeable. So for those of you that find this show interesting, on March 29th at the Military Heritage Museum, it is going to be the Vietnam Veteran Welcome Home event. And Ashley will be there with a table to answer any questions. And if somebody's got a relative that is wanting to enlist in the Army, she'll be able to help you out with any questions or anything that you have. So at this time, I would like to introduce to you Staff Sergeant Ashley Rodriguez.
Hello.
Good morning, Ashley. How are you?
Good, good.
Are you ready for this? How much time have you already spent in the Army?
It's been 10 and a half years.
Oh my.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know you were that green.
Yes, ma'am. 10 and a half years. I'm married and have 2 children, and we love it here.
Is this your first assignment?
No, ma'am. This is about my 4th assignment. First, I was stationed in Texas. I'm originally from Texas. They put me on orders to Hawaii after Texas. And then from there, I went to Fort Riley, Kansas. And now we are loving it here in Port Charlotte, Florida.
Yeah, we shovel sand here instead of snow.
We get the beach life here. I love it.
Yes, we do. Okay, so and as a recruiter, is this the only position you have held in the Army?
No, ma'am. I started off as a AC heater mechanic. Then I worked to wheel vehicle mechanic, and now I'm currently a recruiter and deputy station commander of Port Charlotte.
That's a mouthful to say.
It is.
Commander. What does that entitle you to do? Deputy station.
So the deputy is basically in charge of the advertising for our team and processing waivers. I process different medical actions. I'm basically the second in charge of my station. So a lot goes through me before it gets to our main station commander. Just try to, let individuals know if they actually qualify before they waste too much time while processing.
Okay. Well, and where do you report into? Where's the main station that you report into?
So we're located at Port Charlotte, Florida. So it's 1700 Tamiami Trail, Unit G, Suite 3. And we're next door to Perkins, CC's, well, what used to be CC's Pizza, right. Taco Bell, Trusses Hair Salon. So it's a really good shopping center. I believe there's also a little thrift store in the shopping center as well.
Okay. I'm just going to do a little side note to my producer that I'm hearing a little clicking. I don't know where that's coming from. It sounds like a time clock or something. So just let her know that that's what's going on there. Okay, let's talk about where all do you recruit? Now, I know that you go to high schools, okay, and what, they have career days?
Actually, so the way it works is we all have assigned schools in our area of operation, and our schools range from all of Charlotte County and DeSoto County. So we're at Lemon Bay, Charlotte High School, Northport High School, Port Charlotte High School, and DeSoto High School. I don't think I left any others out. We are at private sectors like Imagine as well. That's in Northport. So we do go to all of the high schools. That you're correct about that. And then we also go to colleges. So you have the Academy, Florida Southwestern, UCF, all the colleges in our local AO, we are there. But we also just out and about in the normal community as well, like going to shopping centers, malls, just whoever we can reach. Honestly, we are basically delivering the message and letting them know what all we have to offer. Because we don't just stop, at the high schoolers. We just want everyone. If you're able to serve your country, we want to reach you.
And what age group are you addressing? Because I have a husband who is a military veteran, and he says, I would go back in a New York second to serve my country. So let's put a limit on this. What age group do you target?
So we are currently targeting ages 17 with parental consent to 34. The way it works for the parental side of the house is obviously getting parental consent before the individual goes forward with enlistment, and it stops at 34 for active duty. But we just started a exception to policy for age up to 39 in the Army Reserves.
Oh, okay. And so civilians, do you have anything that civilians can do to also help serve, especially if they're out of that age range?
So we actually have a program called ACASP. So the program is actually really good with civilian accreditors. Excuse me. Basically, what it is let's say you have certifications in the civilian world that you would like to apply to the Army side. We would be able to do that if your credentials match up with ours. So it's pretty cool. It kind of takes the age factor out, and that will be your age will be waived if you meet all the minimum requirements. So someone that maybe could be a doctor in the civilian sector could potentially transfer the certifications on the Army side of the house, and now you could potentially be an Army doctor or provider. So there's just kind of a simpler way of putting it, but definitely a really cool program that we have. It's called ACAS.
So if they were to do that, like you said, like a doctor going from civilian life into the service, so are they considered active duty?
They would be if they chose to enlist. That's correct.
No matter what age?
No matter what age, because the age waiver would come in to play.
Okay, do they have to pass that rigorous physical exam where you run 3 miles around the track?
So the way the physical portion actually comes in is not until after they've already enlisted. So in order to join, you have to be test qualified and then medically qualified. So that's meeting the physical side of the house for us initially. And then once you already are a soldier, you are trained up in basic training, and then you have to meet the physical requirements with the high rigorous training, which is the new PT test that you're referring to.
I had to do an obstacle course one time. I was just a visitor, and it was the Army obstacle course, and I was like, okay, this isn't for me. I couldn't.
It can be hard. It definitely can be.
Rope and nope.
Yes, ma'am. It can be hard. Can be challenging, but I mean, if you put your best foot forward, I think anybody can do it. So.
Are you thinking about making this a career? Obviously.
Absolutely. I have 9 years to go. So I think up until this point, it hasn't been easy, but it has been pretty. I've been able to keep things fresh. I guess that's the word I like to say, because As long as you keep yourself engaged and interested into something new, it is fresh. And that makes me continue on my military service. So that makes the 9 years a breeze. So the 10 and a half that I've accomplished so far really snuck up on me. It snuck up on me, and I honestly can't even believe I made it this far. I thought I would be a one contract and done, but no, I've made it this far, and it's been pretty cool. Nice journey.
What is the most rewarding part of your job that you've done?
Oh, well, in my current position, I feel the most rewarding thing is basically seeing where the individual has started the enlistment process and they actually make it through basic training and they call me back and they're like, "That's Rodriguez, I did it. It's great. I love the Army. Thank you for your help." That is the most rewarding feeling for me. So I feel like I'm in the right occupation when I get that call because I remember how it was for me.
Sure, that's awesome. Well, let's talk about the process. All right, so let's say somebody's interested in
Mhm.
joining the Army, and they call or come into your office. Take me from there. What are the steps that they go through?
Well, so I would initially meet them at the door. "Hey, how you doing? My name is Staff Sergeant Rodriguez." I'll give them a little background information about myself and the things that I've accomplished in the Army. We call it our Army story. From there, I honestly try to get to know the individual, try to see what their goals are, how can I help them reach their goals, and try to figure out if the Army is exactly a fit for them. Because I do feel like not necessarily every time that you're for the Army. Like so, I know our counterparts across the hall. We have the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. So sometimes that is the case. But of course, I try to put them in the Army because that is my job. But I know that I do come across a couple that, it might not be the fit. So I get it. But from that point on, I try to continue the process with them. I put them down on a practice test, which is a practice Asvab. Basically, it's a vocational test that's designed to tell them what occupations that they would be good at. So they'll sit down and take a practice test, and based off of how they score on the practice test, that'll kind of let me know if they're ready to move forward. Sometimes I come across the individual might need to study a little bit more. They're not all the way ready to proceed, or they want to score higher because they're looking for a certain specialty. So I'll let them, take the test. If they score well, they're ready to move forward. uh, then I'll let them know the proper documentation that they need to move forward. So the birth certificate, the social security card, proof of residence, whatever they need in their packet to move forward, character references, things like that. That it's really a job application for the government. So it's a tedious packet, but we want the best of the best. So it's a lot of things that go into the packet, and we have to make sure that the citizen is who they say they are. They don't have any law violations or anything like that. Medical issues. We just covered basically the whole line. And from that point forward, if the individual is ready, they'll take the actual ASVAB test, and from
What
there,
do we call that? The as what?
ASVAB.
They're using
It,
acronyms that I'm like,
I
what?
know. Well, it is an acronym, but it is actually called that. So basically, I don't want to mess it up for you. So it's a career exploration program, basically designed to help you pick a job that fits into your specialty. It kind of like is in 9 different subjects, but it kind of um, I don't know how you word it, but it allows you to see what you're good at, your strengths and weaknesses.
And where you might want your MOS.
Right, right. So, so the MOS is your military occupational specialty. But I mean, in the civilian sector, you can definitely just say it's your job. That's what you would enlist for. That would be your job. But the ASVAB is a tool designed to help you decide what is your fit. but it's the acronym that you were looking for Asvab is Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. So that is why we say Asvab. That is why.
Yeah, I'm going to start throwing some at you from the civilian part and see if you understand. You are on WKDW right now. So see, we've got ours too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so all right, so they pass. They get all the paperwork done. They pass the ASVAB test, and then how long before they're notified to come in?
So they'll know their score right away. Actually, they'll go to our Tampa MEPS to confirm their score. Basically saying that they didn't cheat, they are who they say they are. The score is legitimate, and they are ready to process. And then, as I mentioned before, they go through the medical process. So they'll check your eyes, ears, nose, throat, scoliosis test, kneel to stand, duck walk, all the all the ringers they're going to put you through to see if you actually qualify.
What's a
Um,
good walk?
the duck walk, it's kind of like you're in a squatting position and you have to walk forward like a little duck.
That isn't happening with me. Okay.
I think it's about knees and flexibility and
Ah,
all those great things to make sure
okay.
you're able to crouch over.
When you get old, you can't do that stuff. So see, they know what they're doing. They know how to eliminate
Yes, ma'am.
some of us that can't. Well, now let me ask you: if someone has a disability, let's say they lost a leg in a yard mowing accident,
Right.
and have a prosthesis, can do they have a chance at coming into the Army?
I think honestly, any medical waiver would be entertained for sure, because we come across a lot of different new things. So anything is absolutely entertained. It's not that right off the rip they're disqualified. The way it will work is the waiver process, which I assist in that a lot. Depending on what the surgery was, or like you said, prosthetic limb or whatever the case may be, we actually take all the medical documentation that individual provides, and we send it up for basically a medical clearance, saying that the individual can withstand high impact training that they're trying to enlist in the United States Army. If they go through that process and the MEPS doctor medically clears them, then they are able to continue processing. So that would no longer be a factor, and the waiver process would be done simultaneously. So that's basically what they will come across, whether it's a surgery, any sickness, anything like that. It's all entertained for sure, because every person is different. Everyone doesn't have the same limitations. Certain diseases and stuff we do have in regulation that tell us straight up that their person is not qualified to join. So that happens.
Makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay, you have some pretty juicy, what I call juicy incentives
Yes,
to
ma'am.
sign on with the Army. Oh,
Yes,
you got the
ma'am.
stage, girl. Let's talk about those.
All right. Well, the U.S. Army is offering the largest bonus ever for new recruits, up to $50,000. It's available for those who qualify. It's a sign-on for 6 years of active duty enlistment service. The way the incentives work, though, is not every military occupational specialty is offered to that bonus. So the bonuses rare, they do vary. It could be $1,000, it could be $50,000, it could be $20,000. It just depends on the high priority MOS. And they can also be used as incentives, and combination incentives. So what I mean by that is you might go airborne. Airborne could get $5,000, and then you can tag that on to your 3-year contract, which is another $2,000. Or I mean, they all vary. And then let's say you wanted to go Ranger, that might come with another $5,000. So they are stackable as well. But yeah, it's a lot of cool things that we have going on to promote the Army, and the Army is looking for the finest young men and women to join. And this is what they're doing right now. So it's a career-based incentive range. So, like I said, anywhere from $1,000 to $50,000, and it's going quick. It's going quick. I seen it was on the news. The first individual already signed for the 50,000. So it is going quick.
What is he going into?
I didn't catch the MOS actually. I didn't catch it. If I would seen it, I would definitely share that. But there's a lot of different jobs ranging from infantry to combat engineer to um, logistics. I've seen all kind of jobs. So it's over 150 jobs in the Army. So you really never know what they're going to throw at you when it comes to the enlistment process.
And then also they do offer college. I mean, let's say
Yes, free college. You also get the GI Bill. I actually had the chance to use the tuition assistance on that side of the house while getting my degree and stuff. So I definitely know a lot about that. I've been basically taking college courses everywhere the Army has sent me, because some people think you cannot go to college while being a soldier full time, and I am here to prove it. You can. You can.
well, so with more education, does that increase your pay grade a little?
So it doesn't necessarily increase your pay grade, but it definitely gives you a leg up. If you are going for a certain position, you would obviously look better having that degree or more college credits versus the individual that chose not to go. So you have that leg up, and then each college credit is actually worth promotion points. So you would, be looked at in a better light anyway. Just for going to college. So in the military sector, yes, it is a very good pro.
If anyone out there has any questions, you can reach out to Staff Sergeant Ashley Rodriguez at the Tressa's Military Center there off Tamiami Trail, and she will be more than happy to answer any questions anybody has. Is your phone number like on the door as to how to get a hold
It
of you?
is on the door. It's also 813-892-0826. You can reach me at that number, and also our office number. It's 941-255-0121.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for coming on the show. Everyone, we will see you next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.